On this question, it says, the Carry It All minivan, a popular vehicle among soccer moms, obeys the demand equation P equals negative 1/40th x plus 12,000. The cost of producing X vans is given by the function C of X equals 8,100x plus 20,000. Part A says to express the revenue R as a function of X. Part B says to express the profit as a function of X. Part C says to find the value of X that maximizes the profit. And what is the maximum profit? Part D, what price should be charged in order to maximize the profit? So we're going to start with focusing on some of the formulas that we can see already in the equation. And in this equation, we've got P equals negative 1/40th x plus 12,000. I want to make sure you know what those variables stand for. P equals negative 1/40th x plus 12,000. And the P in this formula is for price, and the X is number of units. So this is called the demand equation, and it gives you a relationship between the price and the number of units that you sell. There's usually a relationship between these two. For instance, if you charge a higher price, you might sell fewer of the items, or vice versa. If you have a lower price, you might sell more. So okay, so as I said, that's the demand equation. So then in part A, we want to find the revenue. That highlight is a little too wide, so we'll underline. We want to find the revenue as a function of X, and we have a formula for calculating the revenue. So the way we calculate revenue is that revenue is X times P, the number of items that we sell multiplied by the price that we sell them at. So to calculate revenue, that's X times P, and we have a formula for P, so we're going to substitute that in to get X times negative 1/40th x plus 12,000. We'll use the distributive property, and that's negative 1/40th x squared plus 12,000 x. So this is the answer to part A, the revenue function. So then looking at the next part, we want to find profit. And we have a formula for profit, and I just want to point this out that we have two P's. We have P for price and P for profit. We write the P for price as lowercase and the P for profit as uppercase. So hopefully that won't be too confusing. So for part B, we need this formula related to profit. We have the profit is going to be revenue minus cost. This is profit is revenue minus cost. And we just calculated revenue right here, so this is R, and then cost was given to us, so we're going to be able to calculate profit. So our profit function P of X is revenue negative 1/40th x squared plus 12,000 x minus, and I need parentheses around this cost function, so I make sure I subtract it all. That's minus 8,100x plus 20,000. I'm going to distribute that negative to get negative 1/40 x squared plus 12,000x minus 8,100x minus 20,000. I think that's one too many zeros there. So let's combine like terms. And we want to do 12,000 minus 8,100. And that gives me 3,900 x. I'm going to carry down this negative 1/40 x squared. And I also need to carry down that minus 20,000. So this gives me my answer to part B, which is the profit. We've got A and B done. So then on the next part of the question, we want to find the value of x that maximizes the profit. And what is that maximum profit? So what we notice here is that our profit function is a quadratic with a negative leading coefficient. Now the graphs of quadratic functions are going to be parabolas. And we're looking for the maximum, and if we have a parabola that's down facing, the maximum will occur at the vertex. So we're going to be able to answer this part C by finding the vertex of this quadratic. Now we have a formula for calculating the vertex. A vertex is an ordered pair, HK. And we have a formula for the x-coordinate. That's h equals negative b over 2a. And k, we're just going to substitute negative b over 2a once we calculate it into the function to get that y value. So I want to use this profit function to find the vertex. That's going to give us the maximum profit. And A is equal to negative 1/40. B is 3,900. And C is negative 20,000. A is the coefficient of the squared term. B is the coefficient of the linear term, the x term. And C is the constant. So for our x-coordinate of the vertex, that's going to be negative 3,900. That's negative b over 2 times a. That's 2 times negative 1/40. We know this is going to be a positive because we're dividing a negative by a negative. And we have 3,900 over those 2 goes into 40 20 times, so 1/20. And when we divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal, so that's 3,900 times 20 over 1. So 3,900 times 20 is 78,000. So this is going to give me my value of x, which is number of units. Then I want to get the profit, the maximum profit. The maximum profit, I'll substitute that 78,000 in for x. It's negative 1/40 times 78,000 squared plus, oops, sorry, I'm off a little bit. This would be 3,900 times 78,000. And then we're going to subtract 20,000. Keep that calculation separate there. So I'm just going to type this whole thing into my calculator. And maybe I ought to show you guys doing that. So let me bring my calculator over for you guys to see. Let's shrink the screen down a little bit so you can see the whole thing. And on my home screen, I'm going to type -1/40 and parentheses 78,000 squared plus 3,900 times 78,000 minus 20,000 and we get a really big number. And so we have let's see what that number is. 152,080,000 is the maximum profit. Okay, we have one final part, and that one final part is what is the price that should be charged to maximize the profit. So if you'll remember, we had in the beginning price equals 1/40th x plus 12,000. I'm going to take this value of x that we got, which maximizes the profit, and substitute it in for the x in the price formula. That's P equals -1/40th times 78,000 plus 12,000. So 78,000 divided by 40 is 1,950, the little negative, plus 12,000. And that gives me $10,050. So we should charge $10,050 per vehicle to get a maximum profit of 152,080,000, and we're going to sell 78,000 vehicles at that price. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.